Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Tuesday, October the 19th. Starting with the Russell here, I've got this triangle pattern here. It may be correct, it may not be correct, but you know, with the markets, generally the stocks like pushing higher, you would think that this market would push higher. So we still need a little bit of evidence of that, and my main evidence really has been wanting to see support on 2,300, and we're not there yet for this. So let's go into the intraday and just have a bit of a look at this. But as a triangle pattern, I've got an A, B, C, D, and the E here is a little bit tight and squashed up in this space here. That may or may not be correct, but it does seem to count okay without forcing it and so on. So let's just check on this. So yeah, so we're over here, so we've got C wave, an A and a B and a C for the D here, and then an A and a B and a C for the E wave here, and then I'm looking for 5 waves up here. It started off okay, and now it's looking a little bit deep on that wave 4 here. So I'll stay with it. If this low gets taken out, then what's going to happen, it's going to leave this move here as in 3 waves as well, and then we'll end up going further down. So I'll just wait a little bit and let's just see if this market takes this low out here or starts to pick up at that particular point. Our long trade for this will be a classic trading levels pattern sitting on top of this level here, so we need to wait for that, and it'll be on top of that as an A and a B and a C. Will be on the B wave here. So we just need to wait to see if this can recover from the options expiries that it had. So let's just wait. I mean, it does look quite sort of impulsive here, but I can see as an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So as an A, so we may even be able to put like wave 1 here and 2 here, then wave 1 and 2 here as well, because it's got the personality of a wave 2, that sharpness to it. So that could be a possibility as well. And there's different ways that we could look at that. We could put this over to here and then put this over to here and so on. But let's just wait to see if this low gets taken out here, then we've got a bigger can of worms opening to the downside at that point. So I'll just give it a session or two, and yeah, but like I've always said, our trade would be over here for on top of this level for that. Okay, let's move on to the NASDAQ. So with the NASDAQ here, as you know, yesterday we'd been looking at calling the low in. It's looking quite good. The S&P is traveling a little bit higher compared to the move down through here, so it's kind of leading the way. The takeaway here, I get, well, there's a few things that we need to understand here. First of all, this is bullish corrective, and at some point we will make a new high here. Will it be this time? Probably, but the point being is that if we're talking about intermediate wave 4, then this is the 38.2% retracement level here, and it's a long way off here. So there's 2 things that conclude here for that, is that either we've got the X wave coming in at the old high here for this, so all this move down here would be the W, and this X can go over to here and this Y can go over to here, and we come down from that point. That would make sense. The other point being is that we actually don't have this wave 4 here, we have 1 degree smaller wave 4, which we'll be looking at on the S&P. So we need to understand this trend here, so let's go in and check on that. So from the low here yesterday, carrying on from yesterday, we'd call the low in here, and the only way to count this positively to the upside is 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here. And then we could also look at this as 1 here and 2 here as well, or we could look at it as the third wave developing here for this. So Yeah, but I suppose as the X wave here too, we could look at this as an A, B, C here for the A wave, and then the B wave, and then the C wave here. But anything past that 5-wave structure, and then we can rule out this X wave here, or whatever it may be, a B wave or whatever. Yeah, and it does appear that in this case we have passed where we need to go. So we'll need to go to the hourly chart to check on that. So yesterday when we spoke, we looked at, yes, as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and we could also have this green wave 1 and 2 back here as well, or we're going to have 3 and 4 sitting here. So in this case, we can look at this as being wave 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up for 3, 4, 5. That's what we were counting yesterday. So that could play out there as wave 3, and then we put this in here as wave 4. We looked at going long here yesterday above this, so that's all okay at this point. So I think that if that is the wave 3, that I have to be a bit careful about this one here too. This one here will be 1, 2, 3. So this one here's got a little bit more to play out here, just a bit. So in the next session we will know. So yeah, we can also go long above that there as well. It's going to be a little bit hard to see. If you can't get it there, wait for the first high and take that, but that should just continue to push up at that point. But if it was going to fail, this is where it was going to fail from at that point. Yeah, we'll have to pick this up on the S&P, but it is looking good. The next step here, of course, is this is the 15,000, and this is group 1 here, so 10, 20, and 30. And this is the area that we normally sort of scale into. It's gone quite quickly, so it's something that you may have done or may not have done. But the next step is getting support on top of the 300, and that's going to take a little bit of wiggling around and so on. And once that occurs, then we'll be off at that point. Obviously here as well, where's that? Let me just checking out what that was there. It must be from that other point. Really? Geez, it's a bit illusionary, isn't it? Okay, well, we're above the 61.8%. That's fantastic. Okay, let's have a look at the S&P. So on the weekly chart here, my contention has always been that this is obviously the length of wave 1, and the length of this wave 3 here hasn't been above wave 1, so that's always been an issue for me. And we've been playing it out, being very conservative and playing it out and putting wave 3 and 4 here, but I just don't think it's finished. And normally wave 4 would also, of this degree, if this is wave 2, it would break that trend line through here, and it's far from breaking the trend line. And it hasn't pulled also too from this point here. If we look at the daily chart for a moment, if I go from this wave 2 here to the top here, then the 38.2% retracement level is down here, like closer to the 4,000 in this zone here. So we're far from that. So putting wave 4 here just kind of doesn't really add it, doesn't do it for me. So we're dropping it down 1 degree, and we'll start working it from that point, which will give us an extra wave at the top. So, but anyway, it'll all come out in the wash, but we'll be mindful of everything, of course. So what we can look at here next is, well, a continued move to the upside. One of the things to take away from here is that the S&P is higher than the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ hasn't got to this top here yet, as an example. So we could say that the S&P is leading. So I think it's a good indicator that we can continue to use. So going into the 4-hour chart, I've still got the other 4 here, of course, but because if this fails here, if we look at this as an A, B, C for the A wave here, and then a B wave here and a C wave here, and then we fail and then we come down, which is possible, and that's where we would come down to this, in this zone here. That's where the 38.2% retracement level is at that point. So yeah, so we're coming up to this minor level 5 here now. So 5 being the second strongest number, we're going to see a bit of a correction here. Now, one of the things also I just need to talk about, which I haven't quite sort of resolved either, is on the futures market, we got this as the low. On the cash market, that is the low. So yeah, it just depends how we should sort of look at that. I can see from this point, for example, this move here of 1 and 2 in here, and this is a nice strong third wave in here, and fourth and fifth. So to me, that's all one leg, right? So that means that if we use this as the low here, and look at this as 1 and 2 here, and we take this one here, this low, we can take it to this new high here. And I think that's a good idea, because if we consider that this could be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, then I'm being conservative. I'm using this low from the futures market as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we could put wave 3 here, 2, 3. Or we could put this here as an A and a B and a C here. So I'll just borrow this here. So so it could be this X wave business here, you know. So this is the point where we have to be careful. This is where the market can turn down on this leg, finishing this leg. So what we need to see is, once this leg finishes, we need to see and confirm that we've got some type of corrective pattern, you know. That's what we need to confirm. Now, you might think, well, okay, no, definitely wave 4's in, Pete, and this is going to continue to go up, and certainly you could be right, and there's a good case for that. But we have to eliminate this bearish case as well. So all I'm doing is pointing out the bearish case on the the other side of the the side of the coin. So yeah, that's that. Let's just go in and have a little look at that on the hourly chart. So this is a good scenario here, because it's counted. So I mean, I've got it as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then pushing to the upside. That's okay, but it's this one here we need to get past. So we've got 1 here, ABC for 2 here, and then all the way up here for 3, 4, and 5 here that we're talking about yesterday as well. So this length here is only because the extension's in the third wave here. That means that wave 1 here and wave 5 will be roughly the same. You should always take that very, very roughly, but it just gives you a bit of perspective as such. So yeah, so what we need to do is we need to wait for this to top, wherever it may top. I haven't pulled that apart yet, but wherever it tops, and then we have to wait to see if we get this ABC correction, you know. Or do we get more downside from that point? That's the key point here. So that could be wave C at that point. I'm just pointing out the weak spot within all of this, you know. That's all. Just doing my job. So yeah, that's it. So we have to get past that scenario. This is the point where it can fail. And there's nothing I can think of or say or that would take us past that at this particular point, because it's not like we've got a pretty strong case. I mean, this just can be counted as an A and a B and a C for the A wave and the B wave. I mean, even as wave 1 here, as I've mentioned before, wave 1 that's fine, but the size of wave 2 is really quite big, so that kind of raises a flag for me. And this wave 2 is really big as well. It's possible, but But yeah, just sort of, yeah, it's kind of those little things that nag your intuition, that you can see something banging on the door letting you know, but you just ignore it. So yeah, so anyway, let's just allow this to finish off. Right, it's coming into the end of the session now, so let's just let that finish off, and let's let it pull back, and let's pick it up tomorrow, and we'll know where we are at that point. We'll be able to figure it out. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. I'll just have a quick look at the 10-tick chart just on that little last bit there, just to okay. Well, it could be pretty close if we look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then this, can we call that, would probably have to be 1, 2, wouldn't it, rather than the third wave, and 1, 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's 4 and 5, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there could be more to this to come yet. Obviously, we've been talking about it here, but 10-tick chart moves a lot, so. We could look at 1, 2, 3 in here and 4 here, and ABC for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, I don't know. I can see that it can still go higher. It can finish this. It can finish this and still move higher at that point. Just depends how you if you count that as wave 3 or wave 1 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th wave here with the 4th wave and the 5th wave. So it could be the top right here, or there could be more. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, because what we need to see is at some point we need to see a correction, a decent sized correction from the 500 here probably, and then we could pick it up at that point. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.